Who hasn't made financial mistakes, right? But could some of those mistakes be holding you back? Some mistakes are so common they go unnoticed, but their impact can be huge on your wallet. Today, I'm going to tell you about the 7 most common financial mistakes women make, and most importantly, how to avoid them. Whether you've already started organizing your finances or you're still trying to figure out where your money is going, this video is for you. Stay with me until the end, because even a simple adjustment might change everything for the better, and that makes all the difference. Let's uncover how to avoid these traps together. After all, ignoring these mistakes one more day could be yet another obstacle to reaching the financial life you deserve. Planning your finances might seem complicated, but not doing it is one of the biggest mistakes a woman can make. Without clear goals, money seems to just disappear, and you don't even notice how. If you think your money will never be enough, that's exactly what happens. It gets spent on small things that don't really make a difference in your life, like impulse buys or that Starbucks coffee that becomes a daily habit. Think about this exercise. If you didn't have any bills to pay and your entire paycheck was yours to spend, what would you do with that money? That reflection alone can change everything. Financial planning is about deciding what really matters. Start by setting priorities, a class, a trip, or even building your emergency fund. With that in mind, create a plan to achieve it, even if it takes small steps. You can use apps, spreadsheets, or even a notebook to organize your finances. The important thing is to know where your money is going and how it can work in your favor. When you have a plan, every decision starts to make more sense, and the results begin to show. Planning is about more than just organizing numbers. It's about building the confidence that every step you take is bringing you closer to the life you've always wanted. Those small expenses. They might seem harmless day to day, but they can be the biggest villains in your budget. Think about it. That daily coffee, a streaming subscription you barely use, or even an impulse purchase. When added up, those small amounts can make a huge difference by the end of the month. Imagine spending $5 a day on coffee. It seems small, right? But at the end of 30 days, that's $150. Over a year, $1,800. Now think about it. What could you do with that money? Maybe take a trip, start an emergency fund, or invest in your future. Small expenses might seem insignificant, but without realizing it, they're draining your finances. Take Sarah, for example. She used to spend that amount at Starbucks every single day, until she realized that with a few small changes, she could save enough for the trip of her dreams. The key isn't to cut everything, it's to be conscious. Before making a purchase, ask yourself, do I really need this? Is it aligned with my goals? If you want to challenge yourself, try setting a limit for these expenses and track everything for a month. You'll be surprised to see where your money is going. That way, every dollar you save can be redirected towards something that truly matters. Remember, your daily choices can be a step toward your dreams or a step away from them. If there's one thing we all have in common, it's that unexpected events happen, and usually at the worst possible time. Not having an emergency fund is a mistake that can cost you dearly. Even small setbacks, like a car repair, can turn into a financial crisis. Imagine losing your main source of income without having anything saved. By the next month, you'd already be asking yourself, how am I going to pay the bills? That's why having an emergency fund is so important. It's your shield against life's unexpected events. Now, building this fund doesn't have to be impossible. Start small. Even 5% or 10% of what you earn can make a difference, as long as you're consistent. An initial goal could be to save the equivalent of 3 months' worth of your basic expenses. To make it easier, set this money aside in a separate account, something that's accessible for emergencies but not always in sight. That way, you'll avoid using it impulsively and stay focused. With an emergency fund, you gain not only security, but also the freedom to make decisions without panic. After all, having control over unexpected situations is one of the greatest financial reliefs. Investing, that word can scare a lot of people, especially women. But not investing is a mistake that can cost you dearly in the long run. When you let your money sit idle, it loses value over time due to inflation. And that means that, even without spending it, you're losing purchasing power. Many women avoid investing because they think it's too complicated or risky. But the truth is, you don't need to be a millionaire or an expert to get started. Today, there are simple and accessible options, like ETFs, index funds, or high-yield savings accounts that let you start with small amounts, sometimes as little as $10 or $20. The biggest challenge is usually a lack of knowledge, but that also has a solution. There are so many free resources like YouTube videos, books, and apps that explain the basics. The key is to start from where you are, learn at your own pace, and try out options that make sense for you. Investing is like planting a tree. It may take time to grow, but the fruits are worth every effort. Imagine 5 years from now. You're reaping the rewards of every financial decision you started making today. Debt. It can be a real burden when taken on without careful thought. Taking on unnecessary debt is a mistake that can compromise your financial peace and even your future. Often, these debts start small. A credit card installment for an impulse purchase or financing for something you didn't really need. But when combined, they can become a massive problem. Have you ever thought about how many clothes or items are sitting in your home, bought on impulse, that you barely use? Worse still, many of these items were bought on credit, which means you might still be paying for them. To avoid this, the tip is simple but powerful. Think before you buy. Ask yourself, do I really need this? Is this expense aligned with my goals? If the answer is no, it's probably better to wait. Another important point, avoid using your overdraft or credit card limit as an extension of your income. It might seem like a quick solution, but in the long run, it only makes the problem worse. Focus on living within your means, and if possible, save a portion of your income for emergencies and bigger goals. Being financially dependent on someone else might feel comfortable, but it's one of the biggest risks to your independence. Whether it's a partner, a family member, or even a friend, this dependency can leave you vulnerable during times of change or crisis. Imagine this scenario. Your main source of financial support is suddenly cut off. Without your own income or control over your finances, you're left with no options, and that feeling can be devastating. Building your financial independence is more than just about money. It's about freedom and the power to choose. Start by taking control of what you already have. Understand your spending, create a budget, and explore ways to increase your income. It could be through freelance work, selling something online, or even developing a new skill. And if you're in a relationship where finances are shared, remember to always keep part of your money in your name. This ensures that, no matter what happens, you'll have the resources to move forward. Remember, the greatest gift you can give yourself is the peace of mind that comes with not depending on anyone else. Before we wrap up, let's quickly recap the 7 most common financial mistakes. 1. Not planning your finances. Money disappears without clear goals. 2. Letting small expenses slip by unnoticed. They accumulate and can sabotage your plans. 3. Not having an emergency fund. This can turn unexpected events into crises. 4. Avoiding investing out of fear or lack of knowledge. Your money loses value over time. 5. Taking on unnecessary debt. It drains your finances and creates stress. 6. Being financially dependent on someone else. This compromises your independence and security. 7. Buying on impulse. Unplanned purchases can derail your goals. Avoiding these mistakes can transform your relationship with money and lead you to a safer, more peaceful financial life. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the next video.